Okay, yep, okay, that's working. Okay, and you can hear my voice, apparently. And so we should be good when that goes through. Oh god. Life, the universe and everything, eh? Oh, I'm going to also put in a bit of music for me, but not for you, because that will get me copyrighted. So that's on there. Probably it should be going through. No, I can't see it. Oh, no, we're up. Bit of a test stream today. Microwave. What microwave? Meh. Anyway, yeah, I can put on a bit of music for me. Ah, bit loud. Right. Hey guys, I'm Phoenix here. I'm testing some blendery things tonight. Just thought I'd, you know, stick a stream on and do some modelling and talk about British politics. So if you're not interested in British politics, tough. But yeah, I wanted to start doing more of these little streams because it's not particularly. Yes, it is Blender. Oh yeah, I get you. Sorry, it's late. It's late here. Anyway, so welcome to Blender. If you don't know what it is, it's a modelling tool that I use. It's a free modelling tool, and actually it's a really powerful one. Surprisingly powerful considering it's free. I remember back in the day when you could pick up a copy of Max from Malaysia. You know, and basically the only modelling tools out there were you either got Max or Maya. You never really got anything. You never got anything that was good for free. And this is a really nice little tool, and I use it for all my modelling. Which kind of goes from me doing stuff and me not doing stuff for quite some time. But yeah, so I'm just modelling out this corridor. The idea is that it's going to be the top level of a bunker. The idea being that there'll be another level below this one, which will be the actual bunker itself. And you come up to the top here. You leave out of one of 3 entrances. That will take you to a completely different level, whereby you then do various sort of in-game sort of objectives in order to get resources. That's the rough idea anyway, so I'm just sort of fleshing this out a bit, putting some more detail in down here. Each of these doors will have a sort of a control panel of some description. Probably not one like this again. I'll probably have like a button panel door that way, and possibly something a little bit more beefier up this way, like a handle or something like that. Modelling, 3D modelling. That's what this is. Creating models out of stuff, code, I guess, in the background somewhere. Something I do every so often. And this will not be a long stream. This is more just to test the bitrate and see if the internet can basically handle it. That's not right. So yeah, UK politics sucks. Perfect excuse to get rid of Theresa May, and of course they vote to keep her in, which is very much like saying let's keep her in for her to get us out of the EU, and then let her drop the job for someone else to deal with. Ah, the joys of British politics. But well, I think in the future, if I can get, I mean, yeah. I've made a few now. Never released any of them, mainly because I get to the point where I realise I've done something catastrophically wrong, and scrap the whole project and start over. I'm a little bit of a Chris Roberts in that respect, but yeah, that's alright. A little bit of bracing coming up here. Who knows? Quite honestly, I have no idea why we're leaving the EU. As far as I know, a bunch of people said, hey, let's have a referendum, and gave one of the most important decisions that Britain has ever made to a bunch of people who didn't know any better. And the result was that we are now leaving the EU because areas like Sunderland, who benefit quite a lot from the EU, voted to leave the EU. And now we're all kind of looking at what happened and thinking, why? It's going to leave the UK economy shot to pieces, and that's if it all goes well. If it goes badly, we're talking about things like civil unrest, food and medicine shortages, the whole works. Because an awful lot of our our imports, come from the EU. So yeah, in answer to your question, I've no idea why we're leaving the EU. Somebody thought it was a good idea, and when they won, they then said, "Oh, now all those people who voted to stay in the EU, now you can help us try and work out what the plan is." Which the general answer was, "Stuff you." But all pitching in and all that. No, I don't want the UK to leave the EU. It's a ridiculous thing to do, especially when the country's not particularly strong. Most of our imports are, well, as I said, most of our imports come from the EU, but without the EU, without sort of the free trade agreements that we've got in place and the easy trade agreements, an awful lot of the companies, like the car companies that run sort of just-in-time delivery, they're talking about 45 minutes per vehicle to check to make sure that it's paid the tariffs. The car companies will leave the EU. Oh, sorry, the car companies will leave the UK and move over to the EU, probably France. The banking industry is already leaving the UK. Basically, the economy will become absolutely shot as a result. And if we start limiting who can work in the UK, that's going to cause problems for people like the farmers. Yeah, I know Belgium. Nice country, actually. I've been there a long time ago, but yeah, I know Belgium. I doubt they would do too well without the EU. Move that one in a bit, just so that it's not touching on this bit. Yeah, that's pretty much been our British politics for the week. Theresa May could have ended up being out of a job, but unfortunately not. All this stems from her not putting off a vote. Move the whole thing back and accidentally move the whole thing back to the same place it was in. Let's move that on back one. I do play games. I play quite a lot of games. Been playing Farming Simulator at the moment recently, and some Minecraft and the like. Yeah, I sort of go through phases of playing stuff. You'll notice on my on my channel I do a lot of things like Fallout. Been playing Fallout 76 recently, which it's a good game, but I would not recommend it. The performance is terrible, and it remains to be terrible to this day. At some point they'll fix it, probably. Let's bring that down there, and I can put some fencing in around here. Yeah, it'll be round on this side, and then I can, yeah. You can tell I'm modelling this without a plan. I'm just kind of seeing what looks good. So yeah, if you're interested in Fallout, I do some Fallout stuff. Thank you. I'm just waiting for them to release a Fallout game that isn't buggy on release. That's not going to happen. Well, actually, the one that I'm looking forward to is Obsidian's new game, Outer Lands. It kind of looks like Borderlands, but with a sort of a Black Isle sense of humour, which is rather interesting to me, 'cause Black Isle being the guys that did Fallout 1 and 2, which I played an awful long time ago. That's not going to fit at all, is it? Oh well. It's going to stick on that door. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Oh well. That's kind of why I try these things out. I do still want the bracing bar across the top. I can remove those faces. Jesus, this is not an optimized model, by the way. It's probably not the way you do it. I'll optimize it at some point. Get rid of the erroneous faces. And the faces that just don't need to be there, like on the bottom of the model. Just fuse and just rebuild that face. There you go. Leave the bracing bar in. But that corridor does need an awful lot of work. We can start by bringing those out. I can mirror these, but I'll just do it this way. I'm gonna have to move them all over. I mean, 2018's been a pretty good year for games all in all. It's one of those years of, you know, every so often something decent gets released, and every so often you're surprised when something is suddenly released. Like Just Cause 4 sneakily got, you know, suddenly, oh, it's out. Okay, didn't realise it was coming up. Mutant Year Zero, which I need to pick up at some point. That's looking a little better. I'll probably drop the floor down in the same way. In fact, I can probably just copy that floor over. Which is too long. I can squish it down, it's fine. Yeah. What kind of game am I making? Ooh, I don't really know what I would define this as. I'm very interested in the idea of sort of these non-lethal repair type of games. So I guess it's more of a the general idea is that you're a repairman basically for a bunker. And you've got to keep the bunker alive by going out into the wastes, because the drones that keep the bunker alive have stopped responding, because they've kind of got these like drone stations out in the wastes that you have to repair. That's the sort of the general idea of it, but mostly I'm working within a sort of a Snowball Earth post-apocalypse type of scenario. That looks alright. Just need to shrink that. Oh, well, I'll just pull this out. Yeah, I can just pull it out. Corridor can be a bit longer. You know, so things like games like Subnautica and Factorio, those sorts of games I'm kind of inspired by. I don't think that every game needs to have combat. And above all, when you're playing something like Fallout 4, and you're walking around these wastes, and you've got a law degree for some reason, but you're walking around these wastes, and you're able to survive. You walk into all these huge factories which look reasonably like they should work, with a little bit of elbow grease, and it's sort of one of these sort of oddities, really, that you're able to create so much in that game, and yet you're unable to restart any factories. So that's kind of what I'm going for, sort of a oh yes, because I'm pulling by local. I've got to move all these beams over now. At some point I might have some actual code to show. At the moment it is extraordinarily bare bones. The models are more for I'm just kind of doing this pretty much for fun. More for me than anybody else, but you never know. It's all good practice, I find. You know, the way that the world is going, actually, it might be fun just to have a little bit more of a creative hobby. That looks alright. Yeah, nah, that does look good. I like that. Get a door in there, something big, sort of something heavy. I want something a little bit heavier than. I've kind of got this doorway in here. I think something a little bit more chunkier, like ooh, I wonder if I've got something like a sort of a big sliding door, something a little bit more like yeah. If I do something strange that I like big complicated doors. So what I'm thinking is, instead of doing like one that splits in the middle, one that splits at the side. Let's drop that down to about there, drop that down to about there. Extrude these out. God, I hope that's not fireworks already. Brits will have any excuse to set off fireworks. Right, drop that down there. I can then use that to pull that in, like that. Yeah, something like that. I don't like that, and yeah, that's not right. Sort of getting the shapes, which are the tricky part, and then once you kind of get it fleshed out, it'll be alright. It'll be alright in the end. It's just a case of getting it to the point where I'm happy with it. Of course, if you are interested in using Blender as a modelling tool, it is completely free. It's available on, well, either from the Blender site. That needs to come in. A little. It looks pretty crude at the moment, but once it's fleshed out, it'll be alright. Yeah, so yeah, if you are interested in doing any modelling, there's some fantastic resources just on the internet. Did I? Yeah. Let's get rid of these two inner pieces. Then I can bring this over the top, and this will come over the under the bottom as well. Got to be a bit careful with sizes. But yeah, anyway, yeah, if you are interested in doing modelling for yourself, Blender is a completely free tool and it's available on Steam. You can just download it from the tools page. And then go on the internet and find out all about modelling, and there's quite a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of really awesome things that people have done. And surprisingly, it's not that hard to sort of get your hand in. Yeah, that'll do. I'll chop that down with a nice straight piece, and then jeez, yeah. Something like that. That needs to go in. Apart from it being in completely the wrong place. What have I done? The top piece needs to come in by 1. Like that. And this side might need a bit of work, but that'll be alright. I'll just stick a door in over the top there, and then I think we'll probably be good for the moment. Oh god. Let's remember to grab our all of our vertices. And see how that looks. It's a crude door over the top, and I'll probably be doing all this sort of stuff a bit more at some point. But that's the sort of door that I want. This side needs neatening up and bulking out a bit. Bring in some like recessed areas around here. Somewhere I had a grease pencil. There we go. Yeah. Sort of bulk up that line along there. Sort of around here and here. Maybe a little bit of an indentation sort of around here. And sort of around the edges. Beef up the door a bit so it looks sort of heavy and sort of old as well. I mean, this place is extremely old. I haven't quite worked out on how old it is since Snowball Earth, since these bunkers were shut. An awful lot of these places were sort of built Cold War. I would say Cold War bunkers. But the actual sort of snowball apocalypse happened a lot later, so these are places that have been repurposed. So yeah, I think I'm going to call it a night here. Sort of just a bit of a test. Seemed to be all right. The stream stayed reasonably healthy, so I'll probably be doing more of these at some point. So watch out for these if you are interested in them. And weekend I may be doing a Stationeers stream, doing some more sort of scenario, more constructing of stuff, and might possibly have a Space Engineers video for next week. That's dependent on a few things that are happening. But with that, I will say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.